back. This is module 11, and I just want to give you some information about early action and early decision and what those mean. There's also a couple different plans. Colleges generally have sometimes multiple deadlines, sometimes only one deadline, but generally the timeline for college applications is either the fall of a student's senior year into the winter. Right? So the earliest deadlines would be about October 15th, and there's only a few of those, and those are really, really early. Most of the early deadlines are November 1 or November 15. Regular decision deadlines can go up until February 1st. The University of Michigan's regular deadline is February 1st. Muhlenberg College, actually their early decision too, and their regular deadline is February 1st. So the applications do go through December and into January and some beyond. But some colleges offer students an opportunity to get an answer back, a decision back earlier. If you apply for the regular deadline, which is usually December 31st through January 15th, you're going to find out your decision by end of March. If you get all your information in, and if you get all your application materials done and completed by November 1 or November 15, or again, a couple of them are October 15, some colleges offer students the opportunity to get an earlier decision. So here are the different options. Some schools have a program called early decision, and that's binding. And what we mean by that is when the student submits the application, the parent signs a contract saying, I understand that my child is applying through a binding decision plan, and if my child is admitted, we will withdraw all other applications and I will put a deposit down within 2 weeks of being admitted. The parent signs that, the student signs that, and your counselor at school signs that same agreement. And what that means to your counselor at school, the one that your counselor at school signs, says, if the student is admitted, I will only send the student's final transcript to this school. They're not kidding. So if you're admitted early decision, you're going. Now, the way out of early decision is if the school does not meet your demonstrated financial need. Now, financial aid is one of the extras, and I hope you'll watch all of the information that we've posted about financial aid, because it's really important for you to understand there's need-based financial aid and there's merit-based financial aid. And early decision schools fill financial need in different ways. Some of them fill it all the way, some of them don't fill it all the way. If they don't fill your demonstrated need, then you can back out of your early decision contract. However, if they don't give you a merit scholarship, that is not an okay reason to back out of your early decision contract. So now what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to tell your counselor at school that you're pulling out of that contract, and you don't want to do that, and they're not going to want you to do that, because that makes the school look bad and that hurts the school's relationship with the college. So your counselor at school is not going to be likely to facilitate you breaking an early decision agreement. They're not kidding. It's binding, and you are to withdraw all of your other applications. So that's what early decision is. Early action is a different story. Early action means if you get us your application and all your teacher recs and all your essays and pay your application fee and test scores if they're required, if you get all that information in by the early action deadline, we'll get you an answer a little bit earlier. Most of the time it's in December. Some early action schools release their decisions in January. So December is great because we can have decisions before Christmas, before the end of the semester, and you know what, we just hold on to those. We don't have to withdraw anything. We call them back pocket admissions. We carry that around in our back pocket until we get all the rest of our information. It's nothing but good news. It's really a favor that the colleges do for you. So that's early action. You can apply to one early decision school because it's binding, right? So you can only apply to one. You can apply to as many early action schools as you want, unless it's a restrictive early action. So for example, Harvard, Stanford, Yale, Georgetown, restrictive early action. And what the rules for those schools, and there's probably a few others, what restrictive early action means is you can apply here early action, and we will give you an answer in December, but you may not apply anywhere else early action. So ours is the only answer you can get in December. It's usually the tougher schools that have that rule. Personally, I find it kind of unfriendly There's a lot of tough schools that have early action that don't make you make that sacrifice. I will call it a sacrifice, because if you have really solid grades and test scores for the colleges that require them, there's no reason to drag the admission process all the way through the end of first semester. Why wouldn't you apply November 1? Be done with it and get an answer in December. If you don't need your fall of your senior year, if you don't need that semester to bring up your GPA, if you've already got the solid GPA, there's no reason that you shouldn't apply early action when it's available. All colleges don't have this opportunity, so you have to look on their website in the admission office to see who has early decision, who has early action, and who has restricted early action. There's a lot of conversation about the strategy behind early decision, and do you have a better chance, and should you do early decision at your reach, your dream school? Here's the truth: you should do an early decision at the school where if you got in everywhere on your list, that would be the one you go to. You should early decision at your absolute top choice school, and if you don't have a top choice school, you probably shouldn't make the binding commitment, because it precludes you from having all the choices, right? It stops you from even seeing what the other decisions are. Again, I'm in California. A lot of my students want to apply to the University of California, the UC schools, and there is no early program for them. So we can't do early decision because then we can't see what the UCs do. But again, we strongly encourage you to do your research and really think about which school is, the perfect home for you. And if there really is one that's a perfect home for you, it's a great opportunity for you to get an answer a little bit earlier than everybody else, which just takes some of the stress out of it. And again, there's a blog post beneath this that has a little bit longer of an explanation. There are a couple extras. I'm going to give you a little bit of information for if you have a high flyer student, solid grades, top test scores, and shooting for top schools. I will also give you a little extra module on what do you do if you have an average kid? Oh no, there's such great news, don't worry. I actually love that one. That's one of my favorite groups of students to work with. And then the final set of information that we have for you is our financial aid series. Because financial aid is always one of the biggest questions, how are we going to pay for all of this? So that takes us through our 11 modules. I tried really hard to keep it as tight as possible. I know there's a lot of reading there, but we've been writing articles about this stuff for years, and we're really happy to share our information with you. Again, if you feel that armed with all this information, you can help guide your child through the process, that's awesome. And if you feel that armed with all this information, you need someone to help you do it, that's what we do. Please feel free to hit the contact us button and get in touch, and we're happy to give you a free consultation over the phone. I really hope this has been helpful. I'm so pleased to bring all of this information to you. I feel like the more people know the truth and the real process, the better choices your children will have, because you will approach the process knowing what's happening on the other side of that wall, instead of it being a mystery. So I really hope this has been helpful. It's been a pleasure to bring it to you, and of course, check in if you have any questions or need some help. Thanks so much. I'm Evelyn Jerome Alexander with Magellan College Counseling.